Seniors, your legs weaken first. These 6 foods could save you from a wheelchair. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here, for taking time not just to watch, but to take care of the body that's carried you this far. It happened on a quiet Tuesday morning. I was getting up from my favorite recliner, the one I've had for over a decade. As I leaned forward and pushed off with my legs, nothing. My right knee buckled, my body pitched forward, and just like that, I was on the floor. No trip, no slip, no warning, just weakness. At first, I laughed it off. Well, I guess I stood too fast, but the truth hit me harder than the floor ever could. I couldn't get up. My legs weren't cooperating. I sat there on the carpet, stunned, half embarrassed, half terrified. This wasn't me. I used to chase my grandkids, climb steps 2 at a time, walk for hours. What changed? My daughter helped me up when she arrived. Visibly worried, I brushed it off, but inside, I knew something was wrong. It wasn't pain that scared me. It was the loss of control. It felt like my legs had betrayed me. Over the next few weeks, small things piled up. I struggled to get up from the couch. I leaned heavier on railings. Stairs started to feel steeper, chairs lower, days longer. My legs weren't sore. They were simply tired. All the time. That fall was just the beginning. What came after was a deeper realization. This isn't just about aging. This is about muscle loss, the silent kind that sneaks in and robs you slowly. No alarms, no swelling, just a gradual fading of strength until one day you can't do what you used to. And if no one tells you this, let me be the one. Your legs weaken first, before your arms, before your back, before your eyes show signs of age. It's your legs. And when they weaken, your balance suffers, your freedom shrinks, and your risk of falling and losing your independence skyrockets. But here's the part I wish someone told me sooner. This is preventable, and it starts not just with movement, but with food. Let me share with you the exact 6 foods that help me take my strength back. One bite, one step, one day at a time. Are you ready? Let's begin. After that fall, I didn't go searching for a miracle pill. I went back to something I could control: my plate. And strangely enough, it all started with a sweet potato. Yes, that orange root. I once dismissed as holiday food became the first tool in rebuilding my strength. I remember it clearly. My neighbor Rose, she's 81, still gardens every morning, brought over a warm dish of mashed sweet potatoes. She said, "Eat this, dear. It'll do more than comfort you." I smiled politely, but I didn't realize she was handing me medicine in disguise. That night, I ate it with roasted chicken and greens. The next morning, I felt steady, not cured, just less tired. Over the next week, I added sweet potatoes to my lunch, roasted, cubed, even blended into soup. Slowly, my legs felt less like weights and more like tools again. Here's what I learned. Sweet potatoes are packed with complex carbohydrates, the kind that give your muscles long-lasting energy, not the spike and crash you get from bread or pasta. When your legs are tired, before the day is even halfway over, it's not just age. It's your muscles running on fumes. Sweet potatoes refueled me. They gave me endurance to finish what I started. Whether it was a walk to the mailbox or a trip to the grocery store. And the best part, they didn't leave me feeling heavy or bloated, just full and steady. But that wasn't all. These little roots are also rich in vitamin A powerful antioxidant. That means they don't just feed your muscles, they heal them. You know that stiffness you feel in the morning? The slow warm-up your legs need just to move normally. That's tiny micro tears in your muscle fibers that take longer to repair. As we age, vitamin A helps repair those tears faster. Less soreness, more flexibility, more trust in my legs again. And then there's the hidden hero potassium. I didn't even know I needed more of it until my legs started cramping at night. I'd wake up to stabbing pain in my calves. Turns out, potassium is critical for muscle contractions and nerve communication. Without enough of it, your legs literally forget how to work right. Sweet potatoes gave me that balance again. And perhaps most surprising of all, sweet potatoes fed my gut too. The fiber in them helped me absorb nutrients better. It's a simple truth. If your digestion is poor, even the best food in the world won't reach your muscles. So now I keep sweet potatoes roasted and ready in my fridge. I slice them onto salads, blend them into soups, or just warm them with cinnamon and a touch of butter. It's a simple change, but one that helped me rise without help. Walk a little farther each week and regain trust in the legs that once let me fall. Let's keep going, because the next food surprised me even more. Mornings used to feel slow. I'd shuffle to the kitchen legs, heavy like stone pillars, wondering if this was just what aging felt like, sluggish, drained, unsteady. But then I made one small switch. I traded my usual toast and jam for oats. Not the sugary, instant kind from a box, but real oats, rolled thick, honest. I didn't expect much. But within a week, I noticed something strange. I wasn't as tired by mid-morning. My legs didn't feel like they were clocking out before noon, so I kept at it. Every morning, oats warmed gently with almond milk, topped with berries or a sprinkle of cinnamon. And every morning, my legs felt more alive. It turns out oats are more than just breakfast. They're leg fuel. They release slow, steady energy thanks to their low glycemic index. That means no sugar spikes, no crashes, just a quiet strength that carries you through the dishes, the garden, even the afternoon walk around the block. And here's what hit me hardest. Oats also bring plant-based protein. At first I thought, isn't protein just for bodybuilders? But no, your legs need it just as much as your arms do. Without protein, your muscles shrink quietly, week by week, until suddenly you can't lift your leg into the car or hold yourself steady while changing clothes. Oats helped me rebuild. Then came the night cramps, or rather, the night without cramps. I used to wake up to a tight grip in my calf, a pain so sharp I'd cry out in the dark. But after a few weeks of oats gone, and I found out why oats are loaded with magnesium, that magical mineral that helps muscles relax. They also brought iron, which helps oxygen travel through your blood. With better oxygen, my muscles stopped tiring so quickly. I didn't know how much I was gasping inside until I stopped gasping altogether. And you know what else I love about oats? They're humble. You can stir them into yogurt, blend them into smoothies, or bake them into hearty little bars. No fuss, no drama. Just strength. In spoonfuls. I didn't overhaul my life. I didn't join a gym. I just started my day with oats quietly, consistently. And they gave me back something I thought was gone, forever stamina. Now, let me tell you about a food I once thought was just trendy nonsense, but it turned out to be one of the most powerful allies my legs ever had. Let's talk about avocado. It started with a dull ache in my left knee, then both. A quiet burn that would settle in after walks, after standing, even after sitting too long. I told myself it was age. I told myself it would pass. It didn't. I tried stretches, ice packs, rest, but nothing seemed to help, not until a friend dropped by with something unexpected, a bag of ripe avocados. I laughed. What am I supposed to do? Smear this on my knee? No, she said, smiling. Eat them. One a day, just trust me. And so I did. Avocados became a daily guest in my meals, sliced on toast, mashed into guacamole, stirred into salads. And something changed. The ache. It softened. The stiffness. It backed off. The tension I didn't even realize I'd been carrying started to lift. It turns out those soft green fruits are rich in unsaturated fats, the kind that fight inflammation from the inside. Inflammation is sneaky. It creeps into your joints, swells them silently, and makes every movement feel just a bit harder. I thought the pain in my legs was from overuse, but really, it was from inflammation. Avocados gave me back movement. Then there's potassium, and no bananas aren't the best source. Avocados beat them. Potassium helps muscles contract and relax smoothly, and I finally understood why for months I felt like I had to think before standing, like my legs were lagging behind my brain. But with avocados, that delay disappeared. And let's not forget vitamin E, an antioxidant that protects muscles from wear and tear. That's crucial because as we get older, even walking around the house can create micro tears in our muscles. Without proper repair, they build up. The result: weakness, soreness, fear of falling. Avocados quietly helped me recover faster. Even my circulation improved. Less swelling in my ankles. Fewer heavy leg days. And I wasn't doing anything extreme. I was just eating smarter, eating in a way that respected my body's needs. Here's the truth. Strong legs aren't built in the gym. They're built in the kitchen. Bite by bite. Choice by choice. And for me, Avocados became more than food. They became freedom. Now, if you're someone who's tired of being slowed down by aching legs and stiff joints, don't wait for a doctor's prescription. Start with an avocado. But the journey doesn't stop there. Next came the smallest food of all, the one I used to snack on without a second thought. I never imagined something so tiny could have such a mighty effect on my legs. Let's talk about berries. I used to think of berries as something you sprinkled on pancakes. Pretty sweet. A treat. Not something that could save your legs. But everything changed the week I started adding them to my breakfast every single day. It was blueberry season. I was at the farmer's market, and something about the deep color, the scent of the baskets, it pulled me in. I bought a pint, then another. By the end of the week, I realized something strange. I wasn't waking up with that same heavy, sore feeling in my thighs, the morning stiffness that made me shuffle to the kitchen. Like 100-year-old, it was easing. I could move, so I did what anyone curious would do. I started reading, learning, understanding what these little fruits were doing inside me. It turns out, berries, especially blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries, are antioxidant powerhouses. They fight oxidative stress, which is a fancy way of saying they protect your muscles from the damage that comes with aging. Oxidative stress is like rust inside your body. Over time, it breaks things down, your joints, your tissues, your resilience, and berries. They're like internal armor. They clean up what time tries to corrode, but that's just the start. These little berries also fight chronic inflammation, that invisible enemy that makes your knees throb after a walk or your ankles swell after standing. The inflammation I once thought was just normal aging was being soothed by nature's smallest remedy. And here's what surprised me most. Berries help build collagen. Now I'd always associated collagen with skin, not legs. But collagen is the scaffolding that holds your muscles, joints, and tendons together. It's what keeps you strong, balanced, mobile. And as we age, we lose it. Unless we feed our body what it needs to keep producing it. Berries do that. I wasn't popping pills. I wasn't changing my workouts. I was just adding a cup of fresh berries to my oatmeal, my yogurt, even just eating them plain. And day by day, my legs felt lighter. My balance improved. And the best part, my confidence came back. Because when your legs feel strong, you feel strong. Even mentally, I found myself thinking more clearly, remembering things faster. Later, I learned that the same antioxidants that protect muscles also nourish the brain. So while berries were rebuilding my legs, they were sharpening my mind too. I never imagined a handful of fruit could do so much. But now, I never go a day without them. Up next, I want to tell you about something even richer, something that melts in your mouth, but fuels your legs like nothing else: salmon. The one food that changed how I thought about protein forever. I never thought I'd become one of those people who talked about salmon like it was some kind of miracle. But after what happened to my legs, I'll never look at it the same way again. For a while, I blamed the weakness on everything but my diet, age, weather, even my shoes. I'd climb a flight of stairs and need to stop halfway to catch my breath. My legs burned like I'd just run a marathon, but I hadn't. I just walked across the house. One day, my neighbor, a retired nurse, looked at me and said, "You need more real protein, not just toast and peanut butter. I mean salmon." So I gave it a shot. At first, once a week, then twice. Then it became part of my routine. And here's what happened. Within 3 weeks, my recovery time shrunk. That deep ache in my thighs, after standing too long, it faded. I didn't realize how fast I was losing strength until I started getting it back. I dug into the science because that's how I make sense of change. And here's what I learned. Salmon is more than just protein. It's the right kind of protein. High quality, easy to absorb, full of amino acids your muscles need desperately after 60. Every step, every climb, every squat, you're breaking muscle fibers. Without the right fuel to repair them, you weaken slowly, silently. But salmon doesn't stop at rebuilding muscle. It's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, the kind that calm inflammation, right at the source. If you've ever felt that sharp sting in your knees or the tightness in your calves after a walk, chances are inflammation was behind it. After I started eating salmon regularly, that stiffness, after long drives, disappeared. The soreness that used to wake me up at night, it just didn't come back. And the benefits didn't end there. Circulation improved. I could feel it, literally. Less swelling in my ankles, less heaviness when I stood up. Energy, it returned, like I had more gas in the tank every single day. And then, something surprising. My reflexes felt sharper. I didn't stumble as much. My legs felt like they responded faster. Later, I found out omega-3s also support nerve health. They keep the communication between brain and muscle strong, so your body reacts when you need it to. You want strong legs. You also need a strong heart. And salmon helps there too. Lower blood pressure, cleaner arteries, better oxygen flow. All of it keeps your legs energized and supported from the inside out. And here's what I love most. It doesn't take much. 2 or 3 servings a week. That's it. Grill it, bake it, toss it in a salad. Even canned salmon works. When I'm in a pinch. It's not a trend. It's not hype. It's real food that works. Especially when your body needs more help than it used to. I didn't need a gym. I needed nourishment and salmon. It was the first meal in a long time that gave me strength back. Now, let's move to a food so simple, so familiar. Most of us overlook it completely. It might be sitting in your fridge right now. Eggs. And what I discovered about them, well, that surprised me more than anything. I used to think eggs were just eggs, a simple breakfast, a side dish, something you scrambled on a lazy Sunday. But now I see them as one of the most underrated tools in my fight to stay upright, strong, and independent. My legs had been giving me quiet warnings for months, maybe even years. Wobbling when I got up too fast, soreness in my thighs after grocery shopping, a terrifying moment when I almost fell, reaching for something on a high shelf. That's when I knew I had to take leg strength seriously. I already added sweet potatoes and salmon to my routine. But it wasn't until I brought eggs in daily that something clicked, literally and figuratively. You see, your muscles, especially the ones in your legs, are made up of fibers that constantly break down and rebuild. That process depends on complete protein, and eggs are one of the few foods that deliver all 9 essential amino acids. Every time I cracked an egg, I wasn't just making breakfast, I was giving my legs construction material. And let me tell you, my body noticed. My legs didn't tire as fast when I climbed the stairs. That shaky feeling when I bent down to tie my shoes, it faded. I could stand at the sink and do the dishes without shifting my weight every 5 minutes. But that wasn't all. Vitamin D, it's in eggs too, and it's critical. I'd read how low vitamin D can lead to muscle weakness, poor coordination, and an increased risk of falls. And guess what? Most older adults are deficient without even knowing it. Since adding eggs, my coordination improved. I didn't need to grab the rail every time I went down the steps. My feet landed more securely. My stride felt more confident. And then I found out about choline, a nutrient in eggs that almost no one talks about. But it's like gold for your nerves. Choline supports the communication between your brain and your muscles. It's what makes your leg lift when your mind says go. The older you get, the slower those signals become. But when I made eggs, a habit, one or two, a day, scrambled, boiled, or folded into an omelet, something happened. I moved faster. I felt steadier. I even reacted quicker when I stumbled and caught myself. And don't get me started on B vitamins and antioxidants in eggs. They fuel your energy. They fight inflammation. They protect your muscles at the cellular level. The best part, they're simple, affordable, easy to cook. If you're struggling with balance, if your legs feel weaker than they used to, if you've had moments where you thought that fall could have been worse, don't overlook what a couple of eggs a day could do for you. Because sometimes strength doesn't come from the fancy stuff. It comes from what's already sitting in your fridge. Now we've talked about all 6 foods, but before we wrap up, I want to bring everything together. What I learned, how I changed, and why your next meal might just change your next 10 years. I remember the exact morning it all shifted. It wasn't dramatic. No lightning bolt. No doctor slamming a folder on the desk with bad news. It was simpler, softer, but it hit me just as hard. I was standing in my kitchen, cracking an egg over a pan. My usual breakfast. I'd roasted some sweet potatoes the night before and decided to toss in half an avocado, a few blueberries on the side. Not for any reason other than they were in the fridge and sounded good. But something about that meal, everything we've talked about, came together in a way I hadn't expected. I sat down, took a bite, and just paused. It wasn't just food anymore. It was fuel. It was my fight. And it hit me. This wasn't about getting 6-pack abs or bench pressing like I was 30 again. It was about staying on my feet, about walking without fear, about climbing stairs without hesitation. About waking up and knowing that if I dropped something, I could bend down and pick it up. No groaning, no wobbling, no second thought. That was the turning point. Not just because I started eating better, but because I started believing I still had control, that I wasn't too far gone, that my muscles, my joints, my legs were still listening, still responding, still ready. From that day on, I looked at food differently. Salmon wasn't just dinner. It was recovery. Oats weren't just breakfast. They were endurance. Eggs weren't just protein. They were protection. And berries, they were healing. I realized I didn't need a gym membership to fight muscle loss. I didn't need a supplement stacked the size of a suitcase. I just needed a plan, a consistent, intentional way of feeding my legs the strength they deserved. You know, when you're younger, you don't think about walking. You just do it. But when you're older, when your balance starts to shake, every step becomes a small battle. Every climb feels like a question. Will my legs keep up? Well, now I know how to answer that question with every forkful of the right foods. And here's the beautiful truth. You can do this too, no matter how stiff, how slow, how scared you might feel. Right now, your body is waiting to respond. In the final part of this story, I want to speak directly to you. If you've been nodding along, if you've seen yourself in my words, if you're still here with me, first, thank you. Thank you for giving me your time, your trust, and your heart. Because this wasn't just a video. It was a conversation, a moment of truth between two people who know what it means to feel time pressing on the body, you and I. We've both felt it. The hesitation before getting out of bed in the morning, the wobble in the legs when the floor feels just a little farther away, the quiet fear of a fall, of losing your independence, of becoming invisible. But I'm here to tell you, you are not invisible and you are not powerless. What you eat tomorrow morning, what you choose to put on your plate can reshape your future. Your legs aren't gone. They're waiting. Waiting for nourishment, for consistency, for care. Let me say this clearly. You are not too old. You are not too late. And you are not alone. You have 6 foods now, 6 allies, 6 everyday choices that fight muscle loss, fuel your energy, protect your joints, and give you back the confidence you may have forgotten was still inside you. Sweet potatoes for steady power, oats for endurance, avocados for flexibility and strength, berries for healing, salmon for deep rebuilding, eggs for total body fuel. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change everything at once, but you do need to begin. So start with 1. Make a bowl of oats tomorrow. Add some berries the next day. Say yes to salmon for dinner instead of something boxed. Your body will notice. Your legs will remember. And one day soon, you'll rise from a chair with strength. Again, not struggle. You'll walk those stairs, not fear them, because strong legs carry more than weight. They carry dignity. They carry freedom. They carry you into the next chapter of life you still get to write. So if you felt seen in this video, if something stirred in your chest, in your memory, in your knees, leave a comment below and say, I'm starting. That's all. Just 3 words, I'm starting. And if you want to walk this journey with me, hit that subscribe button. This channel isn't about youth. It's about power. After 60, it's about choosing strength every single day. You're blessed to open your eyes, stay strong, stay steady, and never, ever forget your legs carry your freedom. So, nourish them, fight for them, walk proud again. We'll do it together.